Hello everybody. This is my moze build video that people have been asking for me to do, and I will say I'm not the best Borderlands player, so I don't know if any of this could be changed or if all this is meta still or stuff like that. But I do love Borderlands, and so I think I could help you guys by making some decent builds if you so please. So I hope you know the main focus of this entire build will be anything splash damage or huge magazine size. That is the main focus, with a few odd weapons here and there, but we'll get to those when we get to those. So first up, we have Unkempt Herald, amazing splash damage, a lot of pellets, a lot like the old Unkempt Herald from Borderlands 2. Plasma Coil does insane damage, insane accuracy, shoots out a burst of 16, I believe. Has really good ammo regen as well. Boogeyman, huge magazine, decent splash damage as well on it. The Boogeyman skulls can chain and deal splash damage and do get buffed by Moze's skills. The Ion Cannon consumes a lot of ammo but hits really hard. The Old God to buff my radiation damage because the whole center of my personal build is using radiation. I love radiation damage. The Cloning Magnet Tracker keeps your ammo up, gives you health with Vampire. This is your meta grenade on Moze. A Snowdrift because I love speed. Minesweeper for that Minesweeper chain that can deal millions of damage if you get lucky. Now, first we got to start with prime criticals. These things are amazing. They will increase damage the more you stack gyro jets onto them. So, like, let's say you use sticky mode. If you keep shooting the same enemy, those will increase on damage every time. We got the Scoville. This thing has heavy splash damage and will kill you. Like, let me show you. You will down yourself with this thing, but it is pretty good if you are willing to take that risk. Tizzy's high fire rate, high damage, amazing weapons right here. I don't have the best rolls on. I hope you know all these do have annoyance, but you don't really need them unless you're doing bossing, if you know my opinion. The free radical, decent splash damage. The extra shots that come out of it when you hit the enemy are really good. Chaos, and even after its nerf, is pretty high damage explosive weapon. Kibsworth, it's okay. It's not really the best weapon, but if you can use like a Blastmaster or something like that, it will put out some decent damage. Needle gun, it's not really the best on Moze, but with ammo regen, I kind of made it work. Plus, it is a TDR. TDR weapons, even after their nerf, are still pretty decent on Moze. Flipper, this thing is amazing. High projectile count, high damage, good ammo consumption, amazing ammos. Now, the Ember's Purge, I don't use it for the actual bullet damage. I use it for the puddle damage, because after its buff a while ago, the puddle damage is insane, like Conrady. Especially on Moze, where she can buff fire damage. Even on a flame guy, look at this. This thing does work. Yeah, this thing's insanely good, dude. Next up, we have the Phasor. Do not use the assault rifle version of it, but the underbarrel shotgun. The underbarrel shotgun does splash damage and destroys on Mayhem 10. I freaking love this gun for Moze and for even Flak as well. And this thing is insanely effective on Mayhem 10. Next up, we have the Dowsing Rod. The underbarrel grenade launcher is super fun to use and does some decent damage. OPQ system, the electrical explosions that happen whenever you shoot do decent damage on Mayhem 10. The Shredfire high magazine, high fire rate does amazing damage, but I do not have the perfect version, unfortunately. Guardian Angel. Now, this gun I don't use for actual damage. I use for the Guardian Angel swap tech, where you can like swap over to a rocket launcher or something like that. It is insanely fun and works way too well. So, yeah, I would recommend using it if you are having some struggles on Mayhem 10. The Spade, it's okay. It's not the best gun, but I have it because splash damage, a lot of pellets, you know. Flacker, it's okay as well. It's pretty good still. even after its nerfs in the past and buffs, actually, because I do know it got a buff recently, but I hope you know this thing has extreme splash damage, so beware of that. Anything with extreme splash damage can and will kill you. So in game. Major Kong, high damage, consumes 2 ammo per shot. This thing can be used to one-shot a few bosses, but it's very inconsistent. I would not recommend using it for anything outside of like Captain Tron. More ion cannons for damage. Rocket pod. This thing gets more rockets when you kill an enemy, but resets after you kill a badass or a boss. This thing will shoot out 4 bursts at max that do insane damage. They will each do like 70,000 per hit, and if you have a ×2 variant like I do, that's 100,000, 140,000 times 4. So you're getting insane damage if you can land all of them. Freeman, this thing lets you track rockets. It's pretty fun and does some decent damage on Mayhem 10. As you can see, not the worst gun ever. Next up, we have the Yellow Cake. Now, everybody knows Yellow Cake is stupid powerful, so there's a reason for this. It works way too well on my moze, and I absolutely love this gun on moze. As you can see, this thing one-shots everything that isn't a boss. This thing is overkill for mopping. Globetrotter, insane damage, but it will kill you. I hope you know that. In-game. Backburner is amazing. I'm pretty sure it's just that one. Backburner is amazing on Mayhem 10 and does insane damage, so I would definitely recommend putting this in your build somewhere. The Scourge, not as good as the Plague Bearer, but still pretty good. Especially good for the Guardian Angel swap tech. I use it for that a lot. Jericho, this thing is stupid on moze. Let me show you. I actually gotta show you guys this. So if you shoot out, look at how big the splash radius is. Yeah. Yeah, need I say more? Next up is the Kick Charger. Now this thing does 1 ammo per shot, has a really high magazine, and is kind of like I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a sniper rifle rocket launcher. It shoots out 1 beam that does very high damage for 1 ammo per shot, as you see. This gun's insanely fun and does insane damage. The Hive, I do radiation because I love radiation, but you can do corrosive as well if you please. But this thing will shoot out a rocket that will shoot out many rockets that home into enemies. Really good if you're in fight for your life or just lazy. Plague Bearer, better Scourge, does a lot of damage. It consumes a lot of ammo per shot and isn't really the best for bossing, but it works. Sandhawk, now this thing is amazing. I would recommend grabbing a few in all elements, and it does splash damage, but consumes a lot of ammo per shot. But this thing is insanely good. Do not sleep on the Sandhawk in this game. It's just as good as its Borderlands 2 counterpart. Next up, we have the Yuta. I have 2 of them. They do insane damage. Not really as good as they were way back then, but they do insane damage, have high magazine, have high fire rate. It's really good. The Boogeyman, as I told you earlier, skulls, high splash damage. Transformer, this thing is still meta, if you want my opinion, and is really good, has high capacity, and can absorb bullets, and gives you shot community, but for moze, it's kind of not what we're looking for. Another Gold God. This thing, I don't know why I have it, but, it's there if you want it. Oh yeah, it's underleveled, so don't even bother with that. A Hex, still really good for keeping ammo up and with Vampire. Epicenter, now if you don't have a cloning mounting tracker, this is your second best thing. It bounces up and does insane damage. Another Hex. Hot Spring, if you want to do some healing, but, would not recommend. This thing was in your vault card. This thing, the Pyro Burst, is insane. I'll show you guys in a minute. Blastmaster. This class mod is amazing. I would recommend rolling the splash damage or weapon magazine because the longer you go without reloading, more splash damage you get. I'd recommend rolling redistribution as well, just so you can keep your ammo up a little bit longer. The Eternal Flame, this thing, it's good. It's good for resetting your action skill if you need it. Here's a Sapper from DLC 2, I believe. This thing is good for healing if you do not want to rely on grenades. And that's all my items. So let's show off the perks. First up, we have Cloud of Lead. This will have a chance to not consume ammo every 4th shot and will give you bonus incendiary damage. Dock Bear, I use this with Auto Bear and friends. I almost put every point into Green Tree. I hope you guys are aware of this. Matching set, if you have multiple of the same manufacturer in your inventory, you will deal more damage per shot. It's okay, but, you know, don't rely on it. Scrappy, more weapon damage, handling, weapon speed, and mode switching speed. It's really good if you're running. Redistribution, if you hit a crit, you'll get freaking ammo regen and health regen. This is really good, and you should abuse this skill a lot on Moze. Stoke the Embers increases Moze incendiary damage and Iron Bear's incendiary damage. Elemental effects on AM10 are amazing, but keep in mind this will kind of not work on incendiary vulnerable enemies or incendiary, you know, enemies that are weak or don't get affected by incendiary damage. Sorry, I don't really do commentary, guys. I hope you know that. Russian offensive, you can sprint and shoot, and also gives you lifesteal at the same time. It's pretty good. It's fun and is good for a more aggressive playstyle, which I love. Scorching RPMs increases your fire rate, critical hit damage, and Iron Bear damage. Only use it for the fire rate. The Iron Bank increases your mag size. Always pick this up. Always, always. Specialist Bear, if you're using two of the same type of weapon on Iron Bear, you'll get increased damage. This thing is insane, especially after Iron Bear's insane buff back then. Some for the road. Get out Iron Bear, you get 5 seconds of infinite ammo. Abuse this. I'm not really a part of the whole spammy lifestyle, but I have gotten used to it. But if you don't want to use this, by all means, I get that. Click, click. Increases your gun damage the more empty your magazine is. This thing is insanely fun and can be good for zero wave weapons instead. Forge gives you insane ammo regen all the time, so pick this up. Let's go over to Blue Tree next. We have Fire in the Skagden, increases, gives you incendiary damage on Splash. This thing is insanely good and can be used for some pretty funny tactics against flesh bosses. Deadlines, it's good, but not really. I can't really take points out of anything else to put it, so I would not recommend. Grizzled, you don't really need a cooldown rate, if you want my opinion, especially for Moze. You don't really rely on Iron Bear, in my opinion. Stainless Steel Bear increases armor, maximum fuel, and health. It's also really good, like Deadlines if you want Iron Bear build, but I'm not running that, so no. Torque Cross Motion will double your splash damage chance. You have a 21% chance at 7 out of 5, like I do. This skill can kill you, so if you don't want to spec points into it, don't. I would understand why. We have Means of Destruction. Whenever you deal splash damage, you'll get ammo and a grenade by chance, as you can see there. This is amazing with Pull the Holy Pin. And yeah, this thing is really good for keeping up a grenade count and ammo count. It's also part of the whole like infinite ammo build on Green Tree. Pull the Holy Pin, your grenades have a chance to hit critical hits. This can work with the Minesweeper and chain multiple Minesweepers, and this will increase your damage exponentially. So abuse this at your own will. Auto Bear, when you leave Iron Bear, he'll stay out for a while, grabbing aggro and then self-destructing at the end. This is only good for grabbing aggro, if you want my opinion, but also can pick off some of the weaker ones. We have Vampire. When you hit an enemy with splash damage, you will restore health. This thing is amazing, and this is your only form of healing on Moze outside of like the Sapper com. Why can't I carry all these grenades? I mean, people put points here. I just like having the extra grenades. It's, you know, it's there. To the last, you can throw grenades in Second Wind. Explosive Punctuation, you deal more splash damage. Interaction skill is briefly increased. Yeah, it's good to keep up Iron Bear, keep aggro, you know, all that. Short Fuse, one of her best perks, has a secondary explosion chance whenever you're hitting an enemy with normal bullets. Insanely good. Always pick this up, always, always. Security Bear, just for some extra health and that extra bubble defense on Iron Bear. And in the Purple Tree, you don't need to put points here, but Biofuel, ignites the enemy, they both regenerate health. This can be good to keep up your health in some dire situations. So you don't need to put points here, especially if you don't have DLC. This is not required, but it's nice just for that extra bit of ammo regen. I use normal rocket pods on Iron Bear without any augments because I like the normal rocket pods. So let's go show you, as you saw earlier, let's go. The mobbing is really good and can kind of make MAM 10 look like a joke, as you saw earlier. if you want my opinion, always equip a rocket launcher with your build somewhere, just for that extra bit of security. Because, you know, not everybody's perfect. Now, for basic mobbing, I use the Minesweeper, which can be complete overkill. But, you know, MAM 10 is very unforgiving, so don't feel afraid. And I will tell you this much right now, this build has a very high chance to kill you in-game. So, beware of that. Splash damage is not very friendly on a MAM 10. I would run over to your boss, but I'm going to tell you guys this much right now. There's one weakness that I have about Moze, in my opinion. She can be kind of lower on the whole bossing path, especially the raid bosses. The quote-unquote raid bosses, like the guys with a lot of health. Even the, you know, Vermivorous, all them. This build can lag behind against the bigger health guys, if you want my personal opinion. But outside of that, this build can really just do everything. Yeah, as you can see there, this build is very non-friendly towards towards Moze herself. But yeah, this is my Moze build that you guys have been asked for. I'm sorry if this was kind of a longer video, but I don't really do commentary over my videos often, if at all. So don't really expect this any more often unless you guys ask for like a flak build, because I absolutely love flak, and I will actually give you a better guide for flak because I love everything flak. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, I'm not going to do the cringy YouTuber thing. You don't have to subscribe because I don't really care. I just like giving you guys content. So peace out, y'all.